Hi everyone, my name is Diana Stamate. You're probably seeing this either on my YouTube channel or on my IGTV. I have a new rule for myself that every end of the week I will do a video looking in retrospective at what were the topics and what happened and what is from the last week that I want to share, but also like giving some hints on and having a slight look on what's coming. And doing videos and starting my YouTube channel is something that I started last year as a form of self-expression and sharing my truth, sharing my wisdom. And I see it as a gift for the community, helping people to feel more empowered, to feel more authentic and find their own answers, and mainly to increase awareness. It was not something that I was doing constantly, but from now on you're going to see a short video each week. And this week, since last night, it's coming up very strong that I want to talk about polarities, relationship, and communication. Yeah. And when I talk about polarities, I mean the masculine and the feminine energies, which for me are something really fascinating. I'm just extremely fascinated about how these two energies work, especially in ourself, in each human. Like, of course, you have been born with a physiological male or female body, or you decided to change your sex, or you decided that you feel something different. You feel like you're transgender or like non-binary, I think. But within ourselves, we have this masculine and feminine energies, and when they are in balance, and we are cultivating harmony and love and peace and alignment inside of us between these two polarities, then we reflect it in all our relationships, all of them. It's proven. And I started to be into this approach like 5 years ago when I first started to do Tai Chi, because they work a lot with the yang and the yin and the Chinese medicine, the Chinese philosophy. And that's where I got into this world. But in the last 2 years, I mainly focused on working and understanding how these two polarities work within myself. And I got really in touch with my inner feminine and my inner masculine, and I discovered that they, like, for so many years, they were not collaborating with each other. Like, if you see in any couple, in any harmonious couple, they collaborate, they co-create, like they have a baby. Like, that's physically how they create life. But within us, we have the same energies, the same polarities, and we need them to be in collaboration in order to co-create, in order for us to manifest and to create our desires, to have our needs and wants met, to achieve our dreams, to create a new project, like to get pregnant with the project. You can look at it in this way. And as I mentioned, that my inner masculine and inner feminine were not in balance at all. And that was showing up in sabotaging habits, and a lot of criticism, and like a lot of bad self-talk, and I was not feeling encouraged by myself. So of course this was like showing up in my daily life. I was not having a fulfilling job. I was not having a balanced and harmonious partnership. And the way I was showing up in all my relationships, like with family, with friends, and with my personal business, were influenced by these two polarities. And I had, as if you have followed me before, I always share that I'm a very learning by doing person. Like, I need to have the experience in order to understand things. And I haven't balanced my inner masculine and feminine just by reading about it from books. I have learned about them mainly by having therapy sessions with different kind of practitioners. And for me, the energy healing works the best. And during one workshop where like the practitioner was bringing in balance the masculine and the feminine, I really had this experience when I could hear them talking with each other. Like I could hear within myself a male and a female talking with each other, and until they are not agreeing and until they are not on the same page, my life was not in harmony. Was great, but was not in the harmony and peace and love that I was longing for. And there's something that came really wanted to share, that I always had cranky masculine, and I was like, as I mentioned, like beating myself up, being pushy, being over controlling. And the way I was showing up in all my relationship was that I was putting other people before me. And this is like such a big thing, such a big theme that I think on a society level we are all confronting. And there are of course many people who are saying like, okay, I'm the priority, it's me on the first place. But it also depends if that comes from an egoistic way, or if that really comes from a harmonious way. And for me, it took like mainly the last year to balance that and to cultivate this self-love and compassion for myself, and to balance and to help my inner man and inner lady to work together in order for myself to receive what I want, or to create what I need to satisfy my own needs. And of course there are other entities in your subconscious that can run the show, but in today's video I only want to talk about these two essence. And if you're not familiar with the masculine and the feminine, so the feminine is the receiver, is like the water, is the night, is the soft side, is the creator, is the creative aspect of ourselves. And it's also like when we are in a state of being, of relaxation, of surrendering, and of receiving, that's when the feminine is in balance. And the masculine is the one that makes the structure, that's like a foundation for the feminine to relax in order to create and to bring life. Like the woman is the one who is bringing up a baby. She's creating like physically another human being, which I find like so mind-blowing. And also the masculine is the doing energy, is the structure, because you may see it like if you're a creative person like me, if I don't have a structure, I cannot achieve anything. And nobody, like if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a focus, and you put in daily energy, like intentional energy and action, you cannot really create that thing. And the feminine is also like soft and like water and like really nourishing. Either the masculine is a bit more hard, and it's also like the structure is the one that protects this feminine energy and like holds space, holds the structure for it. And I think it does so much more, but right now this is like the essence that comes up to. Oh, and it's so the feminine is the receiver, so the masculine is the one that gives, you know, like it has like different creational power. So in my case, like these energies were not in balance, and I was not having healthy relationships with the family or with friends or like romantic relationships. I was always like very dependent on other people and not really feeling confident enough and really being self-empowered, but not being overpowering, which is a sign of imbalanced masculine. Like you want to control others, you want to control everything that's happening around you in order to feel secure. I think security is also a masculine trait, provides security. And the feminine is the softer, the emotion, like the emotional side. And with the feminine, I was not imbalanced by not showing my emotion, by not feeling my emotion in the first place. And I think these are not problems, but imbalances that you can find it everywhere in the society, as we have never been taught that when we feel strong emotion, to feel them rather than suppressing them. And we are afraid to express our emotions, to express our feelings, because we're like, oh, they are going to think that we are crazy, or we are going to lose them, or whatever other fear. But I think it's time to unlearn all these things. And also for the masculine, I think in every one of us, we have been taught that we need to work hard, we need to push, we need to do. And especially like in business and in corporate world, there is so much imbalance between these two polarities. And this is a topic that I'm going to teach like in the sacral chakra part of the chakra balance, because you need these two energies like to be in balance in order to co-create whatever you want to create. It doesn't really need to be a child. It can be a project, can be a business, can be a career, can be buying a house. And the whole point of co-creation is to come from a place of joy and excitement. You're like, can you imagine like this two polarity as two children, like a boy and a girl, that are playing with each other, like they're playing and they're picking up stuff, and it's harmony. And in order for them to be in harmony, I need love. It's like the binding element between these two energies. And self-love and self-compassion are the key. Like to accept that you probably have an imbalance, and to accept both the point of view of the feminine and the masculine. Maybe you need to rest more. Maybe you need to not push yourself so hard physically, because you have to take care of this body. And I think, as I mentioned, like the most important relationship is one that you have with yourself. And for that, it's very important to know what are your standards and where are you standing on, what is your standing point to any type of relationships, and to understand that you have feelings, that you have needs, and that you also have the power to achieve them. And then you have to express them. This is the throat chakra theme, to communicate them with other people. And here's the part when you become an advocate for yourself. And you have your man and your woman on your side, and then you share this with other people. And you don't do it from a point where you are controlling them or you are manipulating other people. When you want to achieve something from the relationship, you're coming from a very neutral space. Like, you just know where you're standing, and there's like no anxieties and no attachments and no fears. And you can show up and you go to different relationships, different people, and share your perspective, share your opinions, communicate the way you feel about where you're standing. And if you're not happy with that relationship, and especially when it comes to breakup, like sometimes they can totally disappear from your life if you like move countries or like change the scenery completely. But yeah, that doesn't happen all the time. Once you have a breakup, people will stay in your life, and I think it's very important to become an authority for yourself, as I mentioned, like to be self-advocate, and share with the others how do you want to transform that relationship. And also, we are not static. We are really changing, and some relationships may fall off during time, because we are always evolving, we are always growing. I think it's important to communicate that. But we haven't been taught how to get in touch with our emotions and our feelings and our own perspective and our own opinions, and neither to say that we know how to communicate them from compassion, from a point of neutrality and alignment. And for this, like, my specialty is the chakra balance, where as I mentioned, like, I teach about the elements of each chakra, and next week in the group class is going to be the sacral chakra. It's going to be about the polarities, but each one of them contains a very important aspect of our development and well-being. And it's not, you don't have to look at, oh, I have so much to change in myself, or like there's something wrong or bad about it. It's just like, it's not imbalance, it's just an imbalance. And I notice that people have a hard time to give it to themselves that, oh, I really want to follow this because I want to be to feel much better within myself. And when it comes to communication, I'm not an expert yet. Neither like romantic relationships, but I've met somebody that his work is extremely complementary with mine, and that is Sean Galanos from The Love Drive. And he's your man. He's an expert in communication, and what I like the most about his approach is that is really like no bullshit approach, but he has the same perspective, that you have to get in touch with how you're feeling and not projecting on the others, like, oh, you're like this and you do this. Like, no, when you do that, it makes me feel this. And also like give example of how can other people take action, like what are the actions in order for them to change their behavior. Because when you say like, oh, you're doing this and I don't like it, we don't give also the other option. like we don't say what we want instead, because sometimes we don't know. And that's fine. Like, it's just, you can look at it as a new point of improvement. And he also created a healthy communication workshop that is teaching you how to communicate your boundaries, communicate your wants and your needs, and how to have them met in like a really, really easy and nice structured, really detailed, but also how to say no with compassion. And now I'm coming back to like the most sacred and important relationship, and that is with yourself, with your inner masculine and your inner feminine. And if these two forces are not in balance and are not in power, you will not have the courage to even say no. Like, it's really a muscle. It's really something. Neither do I need to say that besides not saying no, you will not be able to say no in a nice way. You'll be like super acid and cranky and super stiff about it. So I know that many people are struggling with this, and I just shared what has been my experience so far. Of course, I'm still developing and still learning, but I find this topics really, really amazing. And I will leave in the description the resources for the chakra balance program that I'm doing, and for the love drive. You should really check him. Really, really, really empowering and good content if you really want to upgrade yourself and take your whole life experience on a new level. And if you want to go to his workshop, just DM me and I can send you a link. This has been very spontaneous, and I'm happy I have done the video. If you have watched it, please leave comments or share it with other people, or if you have questions, please let me know. I want to know if this is supporting you, or how can I support you better.